Hey there, I just saw this. I was notified by the court system that there's a bunch of new documents in the Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell case, so I figured we'd go on over them. How you guys doing? Hi, Simi. Hi, Davita. Hi, Mary Kim. Hi, Nicole, Ethel, Tracy, Deb, Linda. Where's Ooh La La? I have to see what she's doing. Hello, your main girl, Amber, Time for a Change, Hi Tina, Sleeping Beauty, Evie, Amazing Grace, Tracy, Bengal Cat, Carol, Kels, Shelly, Joe Kano, Kathy, Joe Glover, Mary Beth, Joey Faith, Ann C. Okay, so Donna, Cheryl, David. Well, I'm going to read it, David. Just hang on a minute. I'm going to make it larger, and I'm going to go over all of it with you guys. Shelly, that's what we do here. David, if you're brand new, that's what we're going to do. Hi, Donna. Okay, you're trying to stay cool. Let me make this larger, and we're going to go through these new documents. Okay, so this one, these are all from yesterday, the 29th, and there's some from today. So this is State of Idaho versus Lori Noreen Vallow, or Lori Noreen Daybell. Date of birth 1973. The Madison County Prosecuting Attorney's Office has been appointed as special prosecutor on behalf of Fremont County, and having submitted, pursuant to Idaho Criminal Rule 3, the sworn affidavit of Detective Ron Ball of the Rexburg Police Department, who complains and alleges that the defendant, Lori Noreen Vallow, aka Lori Noreen Daybell, hereinafter Lori Vallow, committed the following crimes. Count 1, conspiracy to commit destruction, alteration, or concealment of evidence, of felony, punishable by up to 5 years imprisonment and or up to a $10,000 fine. The defendants, Chad Guy Daybell and Lori Vallow, and or another person or persons on or between the 22nd day of September 2019 and the 9th day of June 2020 in the county of Fremont, state of Idaho, and elsewhere, did willfully and knowingly combine, conspire, confederate, and agree to commit destruction, altercation, or concealment of evidence, to wit, the remains of J.J. Vallow, which is in violation of Idaho Code Sections 18-2603 and 18-1701. Overt acts. In furtherance of the conspiracy to commit destruction, alteration, or concealment of evidence, and to the fact the objects thereof, 1, I don't know if that's 23 or more of the following overt acts were committed by one or more of the subjects of the conspiracy within Fremont County or elsewhere in the state of Idaho. 1. On or about November 26, 2019, Chad Guy Daybell misrepresented the nature of his relationship with Lori Vallow while questioned by the Rexburg Police Department during a lawful investigation regarding the whereabouts of J.J. Vallow. 2. On or about November 26, 2019, Chad Guy Daybell contacted Melanie Gibb via phone for the purpose of requesting and or encouraging non-cooperation with law enforcement's lawful investigation regarding the whereabouts of J.J. Vallow. 3. On or about November 26, 2019, Lori Vallow provided a false and or misleading physical location of J.J. Vallow to law enforcement during a lawful investigation. 4. On or about November 26, 2019, Lori Vallow contacted Melanie Gibb via phone for the purpose of requesting and or encouraging non-cooperation with law enforcement's lawful investigation regarding the whereabouts of J.J. Vallow during a lawful investigation. 5. On or about November 26, 2019, Lori Vallow contacted Melanie Gibb via phone for the purpose of requesting and or encouraging Melanie Gibb to prepare and or present false evidence to law enforcement regarding the whereabouts of J.J. Vallow during a lawful investigation. 6. On or between the dates of January 30th, 2020 and June 9th, 2020, Lori Vallow refused and or did fail to comply with a court order to physically produce her minor child, to wit, J.J. Vallow, to the Rexburg Police Department or the Idaho Department of Health and Welfare in Madison County. Count 2. Conspiracy to commit destruction, alteration, or concealment of evidence, a felony, Idaho Code. We already read that. Defendants Chad, Guy, Daybell, and Lori Vallow and or another person or persons on the day of the 9th, on or between the 9th day of September 2019 and the 9th day of June 2020 in the county of Fremont, state of Idaho, and or elsewhere did willfully and knowingly combine, conspire, confederate, and admit to commit destruction, alteration, or concealment of evidence, to wit, the remains of Tylee Ryan, which is in violation of Idaho Code Sections 182603, 181701. Okay, so this is going to be, let's see, the same thing here. In furtherance of the conspiracy to commit destruction, alteration, or concealment of evidence, and to affect the objects therein, therefore, I'm sorry, that's his initials. I thought that said 23 before. One or more of the following overt acts were committed by one or more of the subjects of the conspiracy within Fremont and or elsewhere. 1, on or about September 9th, 2019, Chad Guy Daybell sent text messages to another for the purpose of disguising the destruction. Those are the text messages he sent to Tammy. Alteration and or concealment of human remains on his property. 2, on or about November 26, 2019, Lori Vallow provided false information to law enforcement regarding Tylee Ryan's attendance at BYU, Idaho, and or her current housing situation. 3, on or between the dates of January 30th, 2020 and June 9th, 2020, Lori Vallow refused and or did fail to comply with a court order to physically produce her minor child, Tylee Ryan, to the Rexburg Police Department or the Idaho Department of Health and Welfare in Madison County, all of which is contrary to the form, force, and effect of the statute in such cases made and provided and against the peace and dignity of the state of Idaho. Said complaint therefore prays that a warrant be issued for the arrest of the said Lori Vallow and that she may be dealt with according to the law. And that was dated yesterday, the 29th day of June, by Ron H. Wood, signed for that. And then you have the magistrate, Farron Edens, signed. And so that was for her warrant for arrest. And now we'll get the other, hold on, I'll get you the other documents. Well, there's quite a few. Hang on, let me go to the... Okay, so that was the probable... No, hold on, that was her criminal complaint, right? Yeah, that was her criminal complaint. And the next one we have the motion for appointment of special prosecuting attorney was the next item, and I'll pull that over. Hang on. These have all just been posted. I got the notice from the courts 3 hours ago. So all of there's like how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 for Lori, and Chad has 1, 2 from yesterday. Then we have 3 in the court. Okay. All right, let's look at Lori first here. So this next one, State versus Lori Vallow Daybell, comes now the Fremont County Prosecuting Attorney and pursuant to Idaho Code hereby moves the court for its order appointing a special prosecuting attorney to investigate and, if necessary, prosecute the above-mentioned case and any other matters arising out of this case. The cause for this motion is that there exists a close nexus with the Madison County, Idaho, with their pending charges and future charges. I have contacted Robert H. Wood, prosecutor for Madison County, Idaho, and he has indicated that he and his deputies would be willing to act as a special prosecuting attorney in connection with this matter. Therefore, it is respectfully requested that the court enter an order appointing Madison County Prosecutor's Office in Rexburg, Idaho, as special prosecuting attorney. Said special prosecuting attorney shall be compensated at the rate of they don't put it in, per hour by Fremont County, per an agreement between the Fremont and Madison counties to help in special prosecutions because of the close nexus that exists between the cases. Respectfully submitted the 29th day of June 2020. Marsha Murdoch, prosecuting attorney. Okay. Next one is probable cause affidavit. So let's put this over there. Okay. Make this larger. Okay, State of Idaho versus Lori Noreen Vallow. Lieutenant Ron Ball of the Rexburg Police Department, being first duly sworn under oath, depose and state as follows: the information contained herein is true and correct to the best of my knowledge and belief. I'm a detective with the Rexburg Police Department and have been employed in law enforcement for more than 27 years. I'm currently the lieutenant over investigations for the Rexburg Police Department. I currently hold an advanced certificate and a management certificate from the Idaho Peace Officer Standards and Training Academy, and have over 2,500 hours of training. I have attended multiple trainings and classes throughout my career, including graduating from the FBI National Academy in 2015. I have received multiple hours of specialized training and investigations. I've also conducted numerous investigations and interviews with suspects, victims, and witnesses involving narcotics, sex crimes, and fraud. I have also received numerous hours of training on traffic stops and detection of criminal behavior. Since November 26, 2019, the Rexburg Police Department has been involved in the search for J.J. Vallow, date of birth 5/25/2012, and Tylee Ryan, date of birth 9/24/2002, hereafter Tylee. The search for these children began when Kay Woodcock, J.J.'s grandmother, called Gilbert, Arizona police to report that she had not had any contact with J.J. for several months. Gilbert police contacted Detective Ray Hermosillo of the Rexburg Police Department, and due to the Rexburg Police Department helping the Gilbert police with an investigation in which J.J. and Tylee's mother, cousin, and uncle were persons of interest. J.J. and Tylee's mother, Vallow, hereinafter Vallow, has been charged with 2 felony counts of desertion of a minor child, 1 misdemeanor count of resisting and obstructing, 1 misdemeanor count of solicitation to commit a crime, and 1 misdemeanor count of contempt. The contempt charge is for failing to comply with an order in a child protection action in Madison County, Idaho, to produce J.J. and Tylee to the Rexburg Police Department or the Department of Health and Welfare. Vallow was required to produce the children by January 30th, 2020, and refused to do so. Tylee was 16 years old at the time she went missing, and J.J. was 7 years old when he went missing. Until this time, law enforcement has stated that Tylee was 17 at the time she went missing because we were not aware she was missing until several months after her 17th birthday. However, we now have reason to believe she was killed before her 17th birthday. Chad Daybell, hereinafter Daybell, was present in Kauai, Hawaii on February 20th, 2020, when Vallow was arrested on the felony desertion charges. I was present at that arrest. Daybell was also present at Vallow's March 6th initial appearance in Madison County, Idaho. As such, I know that Daybell was aware of felony charges directly related to the location, health, and well-being of the minor children named above. Daybell and Vallow were married on November 5th, 2019. Daybell's first wife, Tammy Daybell, died the night of October 19th, 2019 in Fremont County, Idaho. Tammy's death is still under investigation. The last verifiable sighting of Tylee was on September 8th, 2019 in Yellowstone National Park. The last verifiable sighting of JJ was September 22nd, 2019 in his mother's apartment located at 565 Pioneer Road, number 175, Rexburg, Idaho, by Lori's friend Melanie Gibb. Gibb and David Warwick. While the Rexburg police and FBI have received many tips of alleged sightings since the beginning of the case, None of these tips have led to any verifiable or actionable information regarding the health, safety, or location of the minor children. Vallow moved to Rexburg on or about September 1st, 2019, with Tylee and JJ and her brother Alex Cox. Vallow resided with her children at 565 Pioneer Road, Unit 175, Rexburg, Idaho. Cox resided in the same complex, initially living in the same unit as Vallow, and then moving to his own unit on the same road, 565 Pioneer Road, Unit 107, Rexburg, Idaho. On November 29, 2019, Detective Hermosillo and Detective Hope from the RPD went to Vallow's home, number 175, Rexburg, Idaho, to conduct a welfare check. Detectives Hermosillo and Hope met with Cox and Daybell outside the residence. Daybell acted as if he didn't know Vallow very well and stated he didn't know her phone number. Cox told the detectives that JJ was with his grandma, Kay Woodcock, in Louisiana, which was not likely to be true due to the fact that Kay was the individual who first called in a missing child report to the Gilbert Police Department. Cox and Vallow may be in apartment 107. Hermosillo and Hope went to apartment 107, but the apartment was completely empty and vacant. At this time, they called me and Detective David Stubbs and asked me to come to the premises to help search for JJ. Shortly after calling me, Detective Hermosillo called me again and indicated that he saw Daybell driving a black Chevrolet Equinox away from the residence. Detective Hermosillo stopped Daybell and asked him again if he had seen JJ. Chad responded that the last time he had seen JJ was in apartment 107 in October. He also admitted he knew Vallow's phone number and provided it to the detective. On the same day, myself and Detective Stubbs located and spoke with Vallow in her apartment number 175. We identified ourselves as RPD officers. Vallow told us that JJ was in Gilbert, Arizona with a friend named Melanie Gibb. We obtained Gibb's phone number from Vallow. The encounter was recorded on body cam. We ended our contact with Vallow and immediately attempted to call Gibb. We were unable to contact or speak with her at the time. Vallow also informed RPD that Tylee was attending BYU, Idaho, and living with Vallow. Because Detective Stubbs and I were unable to contact Gibb, we immediately contacted Vallow again and we requested that she call Gibb. At this time, Vallow told us that Gibb and JJ were at the movie Frozen 2, so it was unlikely that Gibb would answer the phone. We instructed Vallow to call Gibb and have Gibb contact us so we could verify the location of JJ. By the evening of November 26, 2019, we had still not heard from Gibb, so RPD informed Detective Ryan Pillar of the Gilbert Police Department of the information we have received regarding the children being with Gibb. Detective Hermosillo was informed later that evening around 9:30 p.m. that the Gilbert Police Department went to the home of Gibb. Gibb was not home, but Detective Pillar contacted her by phone, and she stated that JJ was not staying at her Arizona house and had not been there for several months. On December 6, 2019, Detective Hermosillo was contacted by Gibb, and she informed us that both Daybell and Vallow called Gibb on November 26 at separate times. She was contacted first by Daybell, who told her that she would probably be contacted by the police in regards to JJ's location, and he then asked her to not answer the call. Gibb informed RPD that she was confused by the request because she had been told by Vallow in late September or early October that JJ was living with Kay Woodcock, who is JJ's grandmother. Gibb asked Daybell if JJ was living with Kay, and he told her that JJ was not with Kay. Gibb was soon thereafter contacted by Vallow on her phone. Vallow asked Gibb to tell the police that she had JJ, and asked Gibb to tell the police that she had taken JJ to the movie Frozen 2. Vallow further asked Gibb to take a picture of some children in a manner that would make it appear that Gibb had JJ with her and to send that picture to the police. Gibb informed Vallow that she would not lie to the police, and Gibb did not comply with Vallow's request. Gibb first met Vallow in the fall of 2018. Gibb introduced Vallow to Daybell in St. George, Utah at a Prepping a People conference. In early 2019, Gibb was present with Vallow during a phone conversation between Vallow and Daybell. The conversation was in response to a vision of Vallow that her husband Charles Vallow and her son JJ were going to die in a car accident by January 1st or January 2nd of 2019, which did not happen. During and after the conversation, Vallow told Gibb that Daybell had informed her that while Charles had not physically died in the accident, his spirit had left his body and had been replaced by another spirit, which was a dark spirit. The dark spirit was named Ned Schneider. Gibb has informed law enforcement that the word zombie was introduced weeks after the initial conversation to describe an individual whose spirit has left their body, and been replaced by another spirit. The new spirit inhabiting a person's or zombie's body was always a dark spirit. At some point after Gibb first learned this doctrine from Vallow and Daybell, she was informed by Vallow and Daybell that they believed it was their mission to rid the world of zombies. When Vallow initially spoke to Gibb about getting rid of zombies, she spoke about saying prayers to remove dark spirits from the human bodies they had inhabited. This information has been corroborated by electronic communications made by Vallow and Daybell. After the death of Daybell's wife on October 19, 2019, Gibb was informed by Vallow that when a person became a zombie, their original spirit left their body and entered limbo, and is trapped and cannot progress to paradise. Vallow then informed Gibb that for the person's original spirit to be freed from limbo, the person's physical body had to die. Despite the teaching that a physical body needed to die, Gibb reports that she was never told by Vallow or Daybell that they planned to carry out a physical killing themselves. At the time Gibb was told this information by Vallow, she was still under the belief that JJ was with his grandma, Kay Woodcock, and that Tylee was at BYU, Idaho. Melanie Gibb has further informed RPD that sometime in the spring of 2019, before the death of Charles Vallow, that Lori Vallow called Tylee a zombie. Gibb was on the phone with Lori and heard Lori call Tylee a zombie, to which Tylee responded, "Not me, Mom." Upon the unsealing of my probable cause affidavit in State versus Daybell, Gibb spoke with me and clarified that Lori herself told Gibb that Tylee responded to being called a zombie by saying, "Not me, Mom." Gibb did not hear Tylee say those words herself. This arose out of Lori requiring Tylee to babysit. JJ and Tylee did not want, This arose out of Lori requesting Tylee to babysit JJ, and Tylee did not want to. Lori Vallow also told Gibb that Tylee had turned into a zombie when she was 12 or 13, which was approximately the same time Tylee had become difficult to deal with. Gibb has further informed me that she was told by Daybell and Vallow that they held the religious belief that they were part of the Church of the Firstborn, and their mission in that church was to lead the 144,000 mentioned in the book of Revelation. On January 26, 2020, a search warrant was served on Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow in Kauai, Hawaii, where they were living, and on their vehicle. The children were not found with Chad and Lori in Hawaii, and no evidence found to suggest that they were living with Chad and Lori in Hawaii. Through this investigation, we have discovered that J.J. Vallow was registered at Kennedy Elementary School in Rexburg the first week of September 2019. Kennedy School was informed that J.J. had an individual education plan, an IEP, due to his autism. Kennedy Elementary was in the process of creating a new IEP for J.J. On September 23, 2019, J.J. had an unexcused absence. It should be noted that originally in our investigation, we believed that J.J. was in school on September 23rd, but upon review of his school records, we found that he was not and had an unexcused absence. On September 24th, 2020, Lori Vallow called Vicki Barton of the Madison School District and informed her that JJ was going to Louisiana with his grandparents and wouldn't be home until the end of October, or maybe later. On October 29th, Madison School District records indicated that JJ would be homeschooled. During searches of Vallow's apartment in Rexburg and subsequent searches of her apartment in Kauai, no homeschooling materials were ever found. As mentioned, the last verifiable sighting of Tylee was in Yellowstone National Park on September 8, 2019. Photographs established she was there with her mother, Lori Vallow, her brother, J.J. Vallow, and her uncle, Alex Cox. They drove there in Alex's silver Ford F-150. The trip was further established by tracking the GPS, cell tower communications connections, and Google account information on Alex Cox's phone. The Cellular Analysis Survey Team, hereinafter CAST, is an FBI unit that provides analysis of cell phone records and provides the information to law enforcement. CAST has analyzed Alex Cox's phone and provided the location information mentioned in paragraph 25. The CAST analysis provides the location of Cox's phone. Due to my training and experience and common knowledge, I am aware that most individuals now keep their cell phones with them at all times, and the location of an individual's phone can be used to establish the location of the owner of the phone. CAST uses a cellular device's GPS, points, cell towers, connections, Wi-Fi connections, and Google tracking information to establish the location of a cell phone. The GPS data points used by CAST are considered to be highly accurate and can place the device within a 6-meter radius. CAST has further informed law enforcement that Cox's phone exited the west entrance of Yellowstone National Park at 1840. His phone appeared to be at Buckaroo's Barbecue Grill in West Yellowstone, Montana from 1845 to 1902. Cox then returned to Rexburg, Madison County, Idaho at approximately 2037. The phone was then at Lori's apartment number 175 until 2135, at which time Cox appeared to go to the Maverick, which is a gas station, on Main Street in Rexburg at 2143 until 2153. Cox then went back to Lori's apartment from 2244 to 2315. At 2344, Cox's phone is located at his residence in apartment 107. On Monday, September 9th, 12 a.m., Cox's phone was located at his apartment in 107. However, at 2:42 a.m. to 3:37 a.m., Cox is located again at Vallow's apartment, 175, where Vallow lived with Tylee and JJ. This is significant not only because he is there in the middle of the night, but also because this is the only time in September he appears to go over to Vallow's apartment between midnight and 6 a.m. At 4:37, Cox went back to his own apartment, 107, until 8:59. At 9:21, he was located at a property with the address of 202 North 1900 East Rexburg, which is the residence of Daybell. It should be noted that while Chad Daybell's address is listed as Rexburg, it is actually located in Fremont County, Idaho. The 921 reading is a GPS data point and places him behind the home on Daybell's property east of the barn. Cox's phone was still at the Daybell residence at 10:39. At 10:47, his phone shows a hit at the city of St. Anthony. At this time, we are unable to tell if he was actually inside the city limits of St. Anthony. St. Anthony is about a 5-minute drive from the Daybell residence, or if this was a cell tower ping on his phone while he was still at the Daybell residence. At 10:57 to 11:39, Cox is located at the Daybell property. At 11:52 to 12:02, he was at Del Taco in Rexburg. He appears to spend most of the rest of the day in his apartment. Through this investigation, the Rexburg Police Department and FBI have seized, searched, and analyzed multiple cellular devices pursuant to search warrants. On June 1st, 2020, I was informed by Special Agent Ricky Wright of the FBI that the FBI had been examining a phone believed to have been owned by Tammy Daybell. The FBI found a text conversation between Tammy and Daybell on September 9th which is the day after the last known sighting of Tylee in Yellowstone National Park. The text conversation reads as follows. Daybell to Tammy, 11:53 a.m. Well, I've had an interesting morning. I felt I should burn all of the limb debris by the fire pit before it got too soaked by the coming storms. While I did so, I spotted a big raccoon along the fence. I hurried and got my gun, and he was still walking along. I got close enough that one shot did the trick. He is now in our pet cemetery. Fun times. Now, Daybell to Tammy again. Gonna shower now and then go write for a while at BYU. Love you. Tammy writes back at 2:47 p.m. and says, good for you. Daybell writes right back at 2:48 and says, I'm back home now, which is being used probably to explain the fire and the burial. I found the text suspicious because raccoons are normally nocturnal animals and are not readily out during the day. Matt and Reagan Price, Daybell's neighbors, have informed law enforcement that Daybell's son, Garth, told them that Daybell had shot a raccoon sometime between July and August of 2019 during the day. Garth told Matt Price about the raccoon in response to a question from Matt about hearing a gunshot. The Prices informed me that the fire pit in the back of the Daybell property was hardly ever used until the last few months. Regan informed me that there appeared to be frequent bonfires in the pit on the Daybell property over the last few months, and that the first one that she noticed was soon after Tammy Daybell's death on October 19, 2019. On June 2, 2020, Detective Bruce Mattingly of the Fremont County Sheriff's Office contacted Samantha William, who is the sister of Tammy Daybell. He asked her if she was aware of a pet cemetery on the Daybell property in Idaho. She informed him that she was aware of the pet cemetery and stated that both she and Tammy were pet people and that they had both had pet cemeteries. When asked the location of the pet cemetery on the Daybell property, she stated that it was east of the Red Barn and near the fire pit. On June 4, 2020, I spoke with Samantha, and she informed me that she was aware of the location of the pet cemetery on the Daybell property because Tammy had shown it to her. Samantha was then shown an aerial photograph of the Daybell property, and then she pointed to the same area near the fire pit where Alex Cox's phone pinged on September 9, 2019. The above facts establish that Alex Cox appeared to be on the Daybell property on September 9, 2019 until at least 11:39. Chad sent the text to Tammy about burning debris and shooting and burying the raccoon in the pet cemetery only 14 minutes later at 11:53. The pet cemetery referenced by Chad Daybell is located in the same location as most of the pings on Alex Cox's phone on September 9th. On June 3, 2020, I again interviewed Gibb and her boyfriend David Warwick in Pleasant Grove, Utah. We discussed in depth the weekend of September 22nd and 23rd, 2019, due to the fact that both Gibb and Warwick stayed at Lori Vallow's residence in Rexburg that weekend. Gibb informed me, consistent with information she had previously given to law enforcement, that she arrived in Rexburg on September 19th, 2019. Soon after she arrived, Lori Vallow informed Gibb that JJ had become a zombie and pointed out behaviors such as sitting still and watching TV, claiming JJ said he loved Satan, and an increased vocabulary as evidence that JJ was now a zombie. Gibb observed JJ's behavior and felt it to be the same as she has always observed it. The last time Gibb and Warwick verifiably saw JJ was the night of September 22, 2019. Warwick informed us that it was late and that Gibb, Vallow, and Warwick were going to do a podcast. Warwick said that Vallow told him JJ was acting up, and so Cox took JJ to his apartment in the complex. When Cox returned later that night, he was carrying JJ, who appeared to be asleep with his head on Cox's shoulder. Warwick specifically remembered this because he saw it as a tender moment. Warwick further informed us that when he woke up the morning of September 23, 2019, he asked Vallow where JJ was. And this was between 8 and 9 a.m. Vallow informed Warwick and Gibb that JJ had been acting like a zombie and had been crawling on the kitchen cabinetry, had gotten on top of the cabinetry in the space between the cabinetry and the ceiling. She informed Warwick and Gibb that JJ had climbed upon the cabinetry, that when JJ had climbed upon the cabinetry, he had knocked a picture of Jesus off the refrigerator. Vallow then informed Warwick and Gibb that Cox had come and taken JJ. At no time during this interaction with Vallow did Gibb or Warwick believe that JJ was in danger. Vallow had not said anything about harming JJ or having Cox harm JJ. Approximately 1 week after Gibb's September visit to Rexburg, Vallow informed Gibb that she had arranged for JJ to go live with his grandma, Kay Woodcock. Vallow further told Gibb that she had told Kay that she had cancer in order to convince Kay Woodcock to take JJ. Vallow further elaborated to Gibb that she had traveled with JJ and handed him off to Kay in an airport. The FBI CAS team has analyzed Alex Cox's movement the morning of September 23, 2019 by his cell phone GPS. At 9:55, Alex is again on Chad Daybell's property. He was there until 10:12. The pings on his phone locate Alex near the pond on Chad's property at the northern edge of the property. Chad Daybell's property is located in Salem, Idaho, in Fremont County. On June 3, 2020, I asked Special Agent Ricky Wright of the FBI to analyze the frequency of Alex Cox's visits to Chad Daybell's property during the month of September 2019. His response was, per your request, I checked the visits by Alex to Chad's house again. There were only 4 visits by Alex during the month of September. These were on 9/6 between 12:41 and 12:53, 9/9, 9/23, and 9/25 between 10:05 and 10:22. During the 2 visits on 9/6 and 9/25, all the pings were in and around the house, and there were no pings anywhere in the backyard near the fire pit or pond. As you can see, these visits were also short, about 11 minutes and 17 minutes, like the one on 9/23 for 17 minutes. The visit on 9/9 was the only long visit, approximately 2.5 hours. On June 9, 2020, a search warrant was executed at Daybell's residence and property. With the assistance of local FBI ERT team, we located multiple sites of interest. These sites, hang on one second. Okay, sorry about that. These sites, where were we? Were identified and corresponded to the cellular data of Alex Cox's phone when he was on the property, mentioned in paragraphs 12-16. Additionally, one of the possible sites correlated to a location on the property Chad had texted his wife about, mentioned in paragraphs 17 and 18. The first site of interest was located on the north side of the pond, near the north edge of the property. The site corresponded with the 2 GPS pings from Alex Cox's phone on September 23, 2019. A patch of ground was located that appeared to be disturbed. The weed growth on top of the distributed ground was shorter than the surrounding weed growth. What appeared to be sod etching was also noticed. The disturbed area was approximately 4 feet by 2.5 feet. Members of the FBI ERT team removed the top layer of sod. Under the layer of sod were several large flat rocks. The rocks were removed and 2 pieces of flat paneling were found. The paneling was removed, and investigators exposed a round object covered in black plastic. Similar paneling was found in a barn located on the property. Upon exposing the round object covered in the black plastic, a strong odor was noticed. An FBI ERT member used a small, sharp instrument and made a small incision in the plastic, and a layer of white plastic was observed. An incision was made into the white layer of plastic, exposing what appeared to be human remains, the crown of a head covered in light brown hair. The remaining dirt around this object was methodically removed, exposing what appeared to be a body, wrapped in black plastic. The plastic appeared to be tightly wrapped around the body and secured with gray duct tape. Cheryl Anderson, Associate Professor of Anthropology at Boise State University, was present on scene and advised the remains found near the pond appeared to be human. As noted above, the GPS on Alex Cox's phone pinged twice on September 23, 2019, near the first site where human remains were found. The GPS records indicate that Cox was at the location for a total of 17 minutes on September 23, 2019. Due to the depth and width of the grave the body was located in and the rocks and paneling found in the grave, it would be impossible for one person to have dug that grave, placed a body in it, placed the rocks and paneling in the grave, and covered it back up in 17 minutes. A second site of interest was located behind a red, unattached outbuilding located roughly in the center of the property near the fire pit. Next to the fire pit is an area used as a pet cemetery. This site correlated to several GPS pings on Alex Cox's phone on September 9, 2019. Ground in this area was probed with a steel pole, and several areas of disturbed ground were located. During a search of this ground, a buried cat and dog remains were found. No raccoon remains were located. A backhoe was used to dig further layers of dirt. While doing this, bricks were located approximately a foot below the ground. Once the bricks were discovered, the soil was examined, and what appeared to be 2 bones were located. Based on the condition of the first bones found, Cheryl Anderson was not able to determine whether the bones were human. Methodically, the dirt in the area was searched, and several other items of interest were found, including other bones, charred tissue, and charred bones. Cheryl Anderson indicated that these additional bones, both charred and uncharred, and tissue found were human remains. Investigators provided photos of some of the partial remains that were found at the pet cemetery to Sarah Getz, Ph.D., a forensic anthropologist. Dr. Getz was able to identify those remains as being non-adult human remains. Around the time the head mentioned in paragraphs 44 through 50 was discovered, Chad Daybell was observed leaving his daughter's residence in a gray SUV. I and other officers pursued him in police vehicles, conducted a traffic stop, and detained him due to the fact that human remains were discovered on his property. On June 11, 2020, I observed the autopsy of the body described in paragraphs 44 to 50. The body had not yet been removed from the plastic covering it was found in. As the body was uncovered and the face exposed, it was clear to me this was the body of J.J. Vallow. The body was well preserved. While I had never met J.J. Vallow during his life, I was familiar with his face due to seeing many pictures and videos of him. I was further familiar with his haircut in the pictures I had seen of him in Yellowstone, which was shaved on the sides and back and longer on top. JJ was further identified by Brandon Boudreau, who was shown an autopsy photograph of the body and face and was able to verify the remains were JJ. On June 11, 2020, I also observed the autopsy of the human remains described in paragraphs 51 to 55. It was not possible to identify those remains by simply looking at them, as they were too damaged by fire and dismemberment and no longer had any recognizable features. However, Dr. Glenn Smith, an orthodontist and deputy coroner in the Ada County Coroner's Office, was able to identify these remains as belonging to Tylee Ryan by matching an irregular jawline with an X-ray of Tylee when she was alive. Despite identifying Tylee, law enforcement was advised that it would still be wise to obtain a DNA verification. We were informed that sufficient soft tissue existed, which was not burnt, that we would be able to test the DNA. We are in the process of having said test performed. On January 16, 2020, a child protection action was filed by the state of Idaho in Madison County on behalf of JJ and Tylee. The case number is blah, blah, blah. The court ordered Vallow to produce JJ and Tylee within 5 days of service of the order to the Rexburg Police Department or the Idaho Department of Health and Welfare in Rexburg. Vallow was served that order on Saturday, January 25, 2020, by Detective Chad Cataluna of the Kauai Police Department. Vallow refused to produce the children and never complied with the order of the court. Alex Cox died on December 12, 2019, in Maricopa County, Arizona. His death has been ruled to have been caused by natural causes. Due to the facts listed in this affidavit, probable cause exists that Chad Daybell, Lori Vallow, and Alex Cox conspired to commit the crime of concealing and destroying, altering evidence they knew would be produced, used, or discovered as evidence in a trial, proceeding, inquiry, or investigation involving a felony. Chad Daybell performed at least the following overt acts in furtherance of the aforementioned conspiracy. A. Texted Tammy and told her about burning debris and burying a dead raccoon in the pet cemetery on September 9, 2019. Deceptively acted as if he did not know Vallow very well and did not know Vallow's phone number when questioned by the Rexburg police on November 26, 2019, despite the fact that they were married at that time. Alex Cox performed at least the following overt acts in furtherance of the aforementioned conspiracy. Told Rexburg police on or about November 26, 2019, that JJ was with his grandma, Kay Woodcock, in Louisiana. Transported JJ Vallow from Madison County, Idaho, to Chad Daybell's property in Fremont County on September 23, 2019. Lori Vallow performed at least the following overt acts in furtherance of the aforementioned conspiracy. A. Telephoned Melanie Gibb and asked her to lie to the police about the location of JJ. B. Asked Gibb to create false evidence of JJ's existence and location. C. Falsely informed the Rexburg police that JJ was in Arizona with Melanie Gibb. D. Falsely informed the Rexburg Police Department that Tylee was attending BYU, Idaho, and living with Vallow. E. Refused to produce the children to the Rexburg Police or the Idaho Department of Health and Welfare as required by the court order. Further, your affiant saith not, dated the 29th day of June, 2020, Lieutenant Ron Ball, Rexburg Police Department, subscribed and sworn to me this 29th day of June. Okay, that's the notary public, and it says probable cause is found. You see here, so the judge signed off on it, and probable cause found, June 29, 2020, Farron Edens. That's the judge. So that's that document. Let me go and get the others. Hang on. So we've gone through the criminal complaint so far, which was filed yesterday, the motion for appointment of special prosecuting attorney, and then we just went through the probable cause affidavit of Detective Ron Ball. Then we have the order appointing the special prosecuting attorney. So this is just following up on that other document right here, which, is hereby ordered that Madison County Prosecutor's Office in Rexburg, Idaho is hereby appointed to act as special prosecuting attorney for the above entitled case and all related matters. Said special prosecuting attorney shall be compensated at the rate, they didn't put it in there, per hour, per agreement between the Fremont and Madison counties to help in special prosecutions because of the close nexus that exists between the cases. And then here it's Marcia Murdoch, prosecuting attorney, Robert Wood. Okay, so we've got that there. And then the next thing we have is the warrant returned. So this is the warrant of arrest for Lori Vallow. Okay, which is right here. State of Idaho versus Lori Noreen Vallow. Warrant of arrest to any sheriff, constable, marshal, or policeman in the state of Idaho. Complaint: upon oath, having been laid before me by Lieutenant Ron Ball of the Rexburg Police Department, charging the above defendant with the following crimes: conspiracy to commit destruction, alteration, or concealment of evidence, a felony in violation of Idaho Code, and count 2, conspiracy to commit destruction, alteration, or concealment of evidence. Probable cause having been found, you are hereby commanded to immediately arrest the above-named defendant and bring him or her to appear before me at my chambers in Madison County, Idaho, or in the case of my absence or inability to act, before the nearest or most accessible magistrate. And that was witness my hand and seal of this court, the 29th day of June, again signed by Farron Eddins, bond $1 million. I hereby certify that I have received this warrant on the 29th day of June, 2020, and served said warrant by arresting the above defendant on the 29th day of June, 2020, by the officer right there. So that's the warrant. And then notice of the hearing is the next document that was filed. So that is this one, right? Oops, get over there. Here, State of Idaho versus Lori Noreen Vallow. Notice is given that the above entitled case is set for a hearing type and initial appearance felony in the magistrate court. That was June 30th today, 4:30 p.m., Farron Eddins at the Fremont County Courthouse, 151 West 1st North, St. Anthony, Idaho. And I certify that on this date, I served copy of the attached to Ron Wood, Mark Means, email, and that's signed. So she's got that hearing. And notice of appearance is the next one. So, which is this? State of Idaho versus Lori Noreen Vallow. Comes now Attorney Mark Means of Means Law, and hereby files notice of appearance on behalf of the defendant, Mrs. Lori Vallow, Daybell, in the above entitled matter. All future pleadings, correspondence, orders, and or other documents relating to this matter should be forwarded to Mark L. Means of Means Law Offices, attorney of record for the said defendant, at the above referenced address. Additionally, the defendant hereby gives notice of her intent to use forensic testimony via video teleconference pursuant to Idaho Criminal Rule 43.2 for any motion hearings and or jury trial in the event such forensic testimony, if necessary. Dated the 30th day of June, signed by Mark Means, attorney for the defendant. Okay, then we have the amended criminal complaint is the next document. State of Idaho versus Lori Noreen Vallow, aka Lori Noreen Daybell. The Madison County Prosecuting Attorney Office has been appointed as special prosecutor on behalf of Fremont County, and having submitted pursuant to Idaho Criminal Rule 3, the sworn affidavit of Detective Ron Ball of the Rexburg Police Department, who complains and alleges the defendant, Lori Noreen Vallow, aka Lori Noreen Daybell, hereinafter Lori Vallow, committed the following crimes. Count 1, conspiracy to commit destruction, alteration, or concealment of evidence, a felony, punishable by up to 5 years imprisonment and or a $10,000 fine. The defendant's, hold on, let me just go over here, because I'm just going to make this larger because I'm going to read it over in Streamlabs. Okay. The defendants, Guy Daybell, Lori Vallow, and or another person or persons on or between the 22nd day of September 2019 and the 9th day of June 2020 in the county of Fremont, state of Idaho, and elsewhere did willfully and knowingly combine, conspire, confederate, and agree to commit destruction, alteration, or concealment of evidence in a felony proceeding, inquiry, and or investigation authorized by law with the intent to prevent it from being so produced, used, and or discovered, to wit, the human remains of J.J. Vallow, which is in violation of Idaho Code Sections 18-2603 and 18-1701. In furtherance of the conspiracy to commit destruction, alteration, or concealment of evidence, and to the effect the objects thereof, one or more of the following overt acts were committed by one or more of the subjects of the conspiracy within Fremont County or elsewhere in the state of Idaho. 1. On or about November 26, 2019, Chad Guy Daybell misrepresented the nature of his relationship with Lori Vallow while questioned by the Rexburg Police Department during a lawful investigation regarding the whereabouts of J.J. Vallow. 2. On or about November 26, 2019, Chad Guy Daybell contacted Melanie Gibb via phone for the purpose of requesting and or encouraging non-cooperation with the law enforcement's lawful investigation regarding the whereabouts of J.J. Vallow. 3. On or about November 26, 2019, Lori Vallow provided a false and or misleading physical location of J.J. to law enforcement during a lawful investigation. 4. On or about November 26, 2019, Lori Vallow contacted Melanie Gibb via phone for the purpose of requesting and or encouraging non-cooperation with law enforcement's lawful investigation regarding the whereabouts of J.J. Vallow. Yes, PJV, we just read that in the hearing. On or about November 26, 2019, Lori Vallow contacted Melanie Gibb via phone for the purpose of requesting and or encouraging Melanie Gibb to prepare and to present false evidence to law enforcement regarding the whereabouts of J.J. Vallow during a lawful investigation. And on or about the dates of January 30th, 2020 and June 9th, 2020, Lori Vallow refused and or did fail to comply with a court order to produce her minor child, to wit, J.J. Vallow, to the Rexburg Police Department or the Idaho Department of Health and Welfare in Madison County. And then count 2, punishable also of up to 5 years and or $10,000 fine, conspiracy to commit destruction, alteration, or concealment of evidence, a felony. The defendants Chad Guy Daybell, Lori Vallow, and or another person or persons on or between the 9th day of September 2019 and the 9th day of June 2020 in the county of Fremont, state of Idaho, or elsewhere, did willfully and knowingly combine, conspire, confederate, and agree to commit destruction, alteration, or concealment of evidence in a felony proceeding, inquiry, and or investigation authorized by law, with the intent to prevent it from being so produced, used, and or discovered, to wit, the human remains of Tylee Ryan, which is in violation of Idaho Code Sections 18-2603 and 18-1701, overt acts in furtherance of the conspiracy to commit destruction, alteration, and concealment of evidence, and to the effect of the objects thereof, one or more of the following overt acts were committed by one or more of the subjects of the conspiracy within Fremont County and or elsewhere. On or about September 9th, 2019, Chad Guy Daybell sent text messages to another for the purpose of disguising the destruction, alteration, and or concealment of the human remains of Tylee Ryan on his property. On or about November 26th, 2019, Lori Vallow provided false information to law enforcement regarding Tylee Ryan's attendance at BYU, Idaho, and or her current housing situation. On or between the dates of January 30th, 2020 and June 9th, 2020, Lori Vallow refused and or did fail to comply with a court order to produce her minor child, Tylee Ryan, to the Rexburg Police Department or the Idaho Department of Health and Welfare in Madison County case, all of which is contrary to the form, force, and effect of the statute in such cases made and provided, and against the peace and dignity of the state of Idaho. Said complainant therefore prays that a warrant be issued for the arrest of the said Lori Vallow, and that she be dealt with according to the law, dated this 30th day of June, 2020, Rob H. Wood, Special Prosecuting Attorney for Fremont County. Signed by Farron Edens. And now let's see what else we have in there. Come on, mouse, move. Hold on, my mouse is not moving. Okay, there we go. All right, then those are Lori's, that's State of Idaho versus Lori. Those are all the new documents from the 29th to the 30th. And then for State of Idaho versus Chad Guy Daybell, his newest is the order for continuance, which was dated yesterday. And I'll pull that over. State of Idaho versus Chad Guy Daybell. the parties' stipulation to continue having come before the court, and the court having been fully advised and good cause appearing, therefore, it is hereby ordered, and this does order, that the preliminary hearing currently scheduled for July 1st, 2020 and July 2nd, 2020 in the above entitled case is hereby continued and shall be rescheduled for August 3rd, 2020 and August 4th, 2020. Okay, so he's not going to court on the 1st and the 2nd of July anymore. That's that one, and let's see. Then the next we have Idaho Supreme Court docket, and we have nothing new there. And the next is State of Idaho versus Lori Noreen Vallow. What do we have there? Anything new there? No, so that's, now you're all up to date on all the documentation. Let me just do a quick refresh and make sure. So she will be in court at 4:30 via the telephone conference. So let me get back to the chat. And let's see. Hi Susanna. Hi Jack Pack. Hi Sue Bell. Hi G. So what do you guys? Deanna, Zoe, Lisa, Sakura, Sharon, Janae, Gigi, manager of Three Monsters, Dawn. So I just wanted to bring you guys those documents since I got a notification that those were added. And then tonight we can discuss whatever happens in court today at 4:30 when she's at her hearing. Hi, Led Zepp girl. Tickety Boo, Tina, Kindness Cake, Darby Deb. Hope you guys are all okay. Patty and Pink, Laura Kenny, Beth, Kelly, Diane, Whisper to Me. So how's it? Liz Stewart. Okay, Wake Up, Casbat, Andy Hall, Kelly, Sad Soul, Katie Cat, Your Main Girl, Valerie K, NB. All right, Diana Rasmussen. So hopefully, if I missed any of you, I see you too. It's just that there's a lot, and my eyes are blurry from reading. So yeah, we'll discuss more later. But those are all the documents that are there. Yep, hi Leapin' Lizard. All right, and yep, she'll be in court later today. And Chad is postponed until August 3rd and 4th. So, but they're definitely, saying that Alex could not have done that alone in that short time to bury JJ like that. All right, Hasten It All. All right, I hope you guys all have a good day, and I'll talk to you later, okay? Hi, Mama Ames. Melanie and 2 of her children. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's why Brandon was shot at, apparently. Yep. Phoenix News 10 will have the hearing. Okay. All right, Ines, everybody take care. Have a good day. I'll see you later.